You're not lazy, you're hurt, and no one noticed. They think you're unmotivated. They say you just don't try hard enough. But what they don't see is what you're carrying. The invisible weight. You see, my friend, there are burdens that cannot be seen with the eyes. Like steam rising from hot tea, they are there, but only felt by the one who holds the cup. The late nights where you couldn't sleep because your mind wouldn't shut off, like a restless dragon, circling, never finding peace. The mornings where getting out of bed felt like lifting a mountain. Not just any mountain, but one made of all your yesterdays, all your tomorrows, pressing down on your chest. The thoughts that whisper, what's the point? Even when you try to stay positive, even when you force that smile, even when you tell yourself, tomorrow will be better. But here is what I have learned in my many years, young one. This isn't about discipline. This isn't about productivity. Those are just words people use when they haven't walked in shoes that pinch. This is about pain. Pain buried so deep, you forgot where it started. Was it that day when someone said you weren't good enough? Was it the moment you realized the world could be cruel? Or maybe it started so quietly, so slowly, like water wearing away stone, that you didn't even notice until the foundation cracked. But you know what else I've learned? Pain is not the enemy. It is a teacher. A very strict teacher. Yes, but a teacher nonetheless. It shows us where we need healing. It shows us where we are human. The world will tell you to hurry, to produce, to achieve, to prove your worth with busyness and endless doing. But sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply be, to exist, to breathe, to say, I am here. And that is enough. Let them call you unmotivated. Let them say you don't try hard enough. They measure with broken rulers, judge with clouded eyes. They see the surface of the lake, but know nothing of its depths. But you know the truth. You know that getting through today took everything you had. You know that choosing to stay, to try again tomorrow, is an act of quiet heroism that no one will write songs about. And that, my dear friend, is where real strength lives. Not in the loud victories, not in the applause, but in the small, sacred act of not giving up, of carrying your invisible weight with dignity, of being gentle with yourself when the world is not. This isn't about discipline. This isn't about productivity. This is about pain. Buried so deep, you forgot where it started. But pain remembered is pain that can finally begin to heal. People look at you and assume the worst. They call it laziness. They call it lack of ambition. But what if it's none of that? What if you're mentally exhausted from always pretending you're okay? From wearing that mask day after day until you forget what your real face looks like underneath? You see, my friend, there is a difference between being tired and being weary. Tired you can fix with sleep, but weary goes deeper. It lives in your bones. It whispers in your dreams. You didn't choose this. You didn't wake up one morning, stretch your arms to the sky and say, today I want to feel behind. Today I want to watch everyone else move forward while I stand still. No, that's not how it works, is it? But life hit you. And when life hits, sometimes it doesn't just knock you down. Sometimes it knocks something loose inside you. Something you didn't even know was there until it started rattling around, making noise in the quiet moments. Maybe it was betrayal, the kind that cuts so deep you can still feel the blade years later, when someone you trusted, someone you loved, showed you that your faith was misplaced, and suddenly the world became a more dangerous place. Suddenly, trusting became complicated. Maybe it was trauma. Not the kind they make movies about, but the quiet kind. The kind that happens in ordinary rooms, on ordinary days, with ordinary people who forgot how to be gentle. The kind that teaches you that safety is not guaranteed. That home might not always feel like home. Or maybe it was just the slow, crushing weight of pressure and silence. The pressure to be more, to achieve more, to smile more, to need less. And the silence, oh, the silence when you tried to speak up, when you tried to say, "I'm struggling," and the world just kept moving. Like your words were whispers in a hurricane. Nobody ever asked you about that, did they? Nobody ever sat down beside you with a cup of tea and said, "Tell me, what happened to make you so tired? What happened to make you so careful with your heart?" They just saw the surface, the slowness, the hesitation, the way you pull back when others rush forward, and they made their judgments. They wrote their stories about who you are based on what they could see, never wondering about the chapters that came before. But I wonder if you know that some of the strongest people I've ever met move slowly. Not because they can't move fast, but because they've learned to be careful. They've learned that every step matters, that every choice has weight. You see, when you've been knocked down enough times, you don't just get back up. You get back up differently. You check the ground first, you test your balance, you make sure you're ready before you take that next step. And the world calls this hesitation. But what if it's actually wisdom? What if your caution is not cowardice, but intelligence? What if your need for rest is not laziness, but your body's way of saying, "We need to heal before we can run again"? What if the way you move through the world, carefully, thoughtfully, with that invisible weight on your shoulders? What if that's not a flaw to be fixed, but a strength to be honored? They don't see the battles you fight in the quiet hours. They don't see how you talk yourself into getting dressed when your body feels like it's made of lead. They don't see how you practice conversations in your head, trying to find the right words that won't reveal too much of what's broken inside. They don't see the courage it takes to show up when showing up feels impossible. They don't see the strength it takes to keep trying when trying has hurt you before. But I see it. And more importantly, you know it's there. Even when you doubt it. Even when you wonder if you're fooling yourself. Even when the mirror shows you someone you don't recognize. You didn't choose this. You didn't wake up and say, "Today I want to feel behind." But life hit you. Maybe it was betrayal. Maybe it was trauma. Maybe it was just the slow, crushing weight of pressure and silence that nobody ever asked you about. Let me tell you about Robin Williams, one of the most loved, energetic, hilarious actors the world ever saw. A man who could walk into any room, and suddenly the air itself seemed lighter. The shadows seemed smaller. He could make anyone laugh, even people who had forgotten how. You see, he had this gift, this rare and beautiful gift. He could take pain, his own pain, the world's pain, and somehow transform it into joy for others. Like an alchemist turning lead into gold, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. But inside, my friend, he was battling darkness no one could see. Think about that for a moment. This man, this brilliant man who spent his entire life lifting others up, making them feel less alone, giving them permission to laugh when life felt too heavy, and yet he carried a weight that no spotlight could illuminate. No applause could lighten. People thought he had it all. Fame, success, the admiration of millions. They saw the red carpets, the awards, the standing ovations. They saw a man who seemed to have conquered the world with kindness and laughter. And still, he was in pain. You know what this teaches us? It teaches us that pain, real pain, doesn't care about your bank account. It doesn't care about your achievements. It doesn't care how many people know your name or how loudly they cheer when you walk on stage. Pain is democratic that way. It visits the mansion and the small apartment with equal ease. It sits beside the famous and the forgotten without discrimination. But here's what strikes me most about Robin. He never stopped giving. Even when he was empty, he found something to pour out for others. Even when his own well was dry, he somehow found water for the thirsty souls around him. Do you know how much strength that takes? Do you know how much love lives in a heart that continues to beat for others, even when it's breaking? If even he, someone who gave everything to make people feel good, someone who turned his own struggles into medicine for the world, if even he could suffer quietly, carrying his battles in the spaces between the laughter, how many more of us are hiding behind a mask? How many of us have learned to smile so well that even we forget it's not real sometimes? How many of us have become so good at being what others need that we've lost track of what we need? How many of us are fighting battles that would make people weep if only they knew? But they don't ask. They see the performance. They see the mask. They see what we allow them to see. And we learn to carry it all alone. Because if someone like Robin Williams, someone so loved, so celebrated, so needed by the world, if he couldn't find a way to share his darkness without shame, what hope do the rest of us have? But maybe that's exactly why his story matters. Maybe his struggle wasn't a failure. Maybe it was a message. A reminder that behind every smile, there might be a story we don't know. Behind every laugh, there might be tears we haven't seen. Maybe he's teaching us, even now, that it's okay to not be okay. That strength doesn't mean having it all together. That being loved by many doesn't mean you can't feel alone. Maybe he's showing us that the mask, the beautiful, necessary mask we all wear sometimes, maybe it doesn't have to be permanent. Maybe there are moments, safe moments, where we can let it slip, where we can be real, where we can say, I'm struggling too. Because the truth is, we're all Robin Williams in some way. We all have gifts we share with the world while carrying weights the world doesn't see. We all know how to make others laugh while crying in private. We all know how to be strong for everyone else while feeling weak inside. If even he, someone who gave everything to make people feel good, could suffer quietly, how many more of us are hiding behind a mask? You're not broken. You're not a failure. You're carrying something. Listen to me, my dear friend. In all my years, through all my mistakes, all my losses, all my wandering, I have learned this truth. There is a difference between being broken and being weathered. Between being failed and being tested. A teapot that has been through the fire is not broken. It is seasoned. It knows heat. It knows pressure. And because of this, it can hold the most precious tea without cracking. You're that teapot. Seasoned by experiences that others cannot imagine. Shaped by pressures that would crush those who have never been tested. And yes, you carry something. Something heavy. Something that makes each step more deliberate, more careful. But do you know what carrying means? It means you are strong enough to bear it. It means you haven't let it fall. It means that every day you choose to pick it up again. That is an act of quiet heroism. And the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still trying, still hoping, even when hope feels like a luxury you can't afford, that means you're stronger than you think. Much stronger than you think. You see, the world has taught us a lie. A loud, aggressive lie that says strength looks like speed, that healing looks like happiness, that progress looks like perfection, that everyone should move at the same pace, carry the same weight, climb the same mountain. But mountains are different heights, aren't they? Some are gentle hills, others are towering peaks that scrape the sky. And the person climbing the mountain, they don't get to choose which mountain they were born at the base of. You don't have to grind like everyone else. You don't have to run their race, climb their mountain, carry their load. Your journey is not meant to look like theirs. Some people sprint, others walk. Some people leap, others take careful, measured steps. And both reach their destination. Both have their own beauty. Both have their own wisdom to offer the world. Your first step, your very first step, is simple, but it is also the most important step you will ever take. Acknowledge what's real, not what you wish was real, not what others expect to be real, not what you think should be real, but what is real. The numbness that sits in your chest like a stone. Acknowledge it. Say hello to it. I see you there. The fatigue that makes simple tasks feel like climbing mountains. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. Rest doesn't heal. Acknowledge it. You are real. You are here. The fog. Oh, the fog that settles over your thoughts like morning mist over a lake, making everything unclear, everything distant, everything muffled. Acknowledge it. I cannot see clearly right now, and that's okay. The pain. The deep, wordless pain that has no name, no clear beginning, no obvious end. The pain that others cannot see, cannot measure, cannot understand. Acknowledge it. You are my teacher. You are my burden. You are mine. Because once you see it, truly see it, without judgment, without shame, without the desperate need to make it go away, once you can sit with it like an old friend you've been avoiding, then something magical happens. You can finally start to release it, not all at once, not with force, not with violence or harsh words or punishment, but gently, like letting go of a breath you've been holding too long, like setting down a suitcase you've been carrying for miles. You see, what we resist persists. What we fight fights back. What we deny grows stronger in the shadows. But what we acknowledge, what we welcome with gentle acceptance, that begins to transform. It doesn't disappear. Oh no, it's not that simple. But it stops being the enemy. It stops being the thing that defines you, controls you, limits you. It becomes just part of your story, part of your wisdom, part of what makes you, you. The goal isn't to be perfect. Perfect is a word for things that never lived, never struggled, never grew. Perfect is for statues, not for humans. The goal is to keep moving, slow, but real. Real movement, real progress, real healing. Even if it's so slow that others can't see it. Even if it's so quiet that it makes no sound. Even if it's so gentle that it feels like standing still. Because movement, true movement, isn't always about speed. Sometimes it's about direction. Sometimes it's about intention. Sometimes it's about simply choosing to continue. And you beautiful, weathered, strong soul, you are moving. Every breath is movement. Every moment you stay is movement. Every time you choose hope over despair, help over isolation, tomorrow over giving up, that is movement. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to keep moving, slow but real. Now let me share with you something very simple. Something so small that your mind might dismiss it. But the smallest seeds, they grow into the mightiest trees. Wake up. Just wake up. And when you do, when your feet touch the floor and the world feels too big, too demanding, too much, give yourself one win. Just one. Make your bed. I know what you're thinking. Uncle, the world is falling apart and you want me to worry about sheets and pillows? But listen carefully. When you make your bed, you are saying something. You are saying, I was here. I matter. This space, this small corner of the world, it deserves care because I deserve care. You are creating order from chaos. You are completing something. You are proving to yourself, even in the smallest way, that you can start something and finish it. And if the day becomes too heavy, if nothing else goes right, you will come home to a bed that welcomes you, a bed that says, someone cared enough to make me beautiful for you. That someone was you. Move your body, even for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Not to become strong, not to lose weight, not to impress anyone or achieve anything grand, but to remember that you are not just a mind trapped in worry. You are not just thoughts spinning in circles. You are flesh and blood and breath and heartbeat. You are a body that has carried you through every single day of your life. A body that deserves gratitude, not punishment. Stretch like a cat in the morning sun. Walk around your room like you're exploring a new land. Dance, yes, dance. Even if it's just swaying to the rhythm of your own breathing. Move because movement reminds you that you are alive, that you are here, that you can change your position in space. And maybe that means you can change other things too. Write one honest sentence about how you feel. One sentence. Not a novel, not a perfect essay. Not something beautiful or profound or worthy of sharing. Just truth. Raw, simple truth. I feel heavy today. Write that. I am scared and I don't know why. Write that. I miss feeling like myself. Write that. I am tired of being tired. Write that. Because when you write it down, when you take the swirling storm inside your head and give it shape with words on paper, something magical happens. It becomes smaller, more manageable, less infinite. It becomes something you can look at instead of something looking at you. And here is the most important part. The part that will change everything if you let it. Don't hide from yourself. You see, we become very good at hiding, don't we? We hide from others because we fear their judgment. But worse, much worse, we hide from ourselves. We pretend we're fine when we're drowning. We smile when we want to scream. We say, I'm okay, when okay feels like a foreign language. But healing, true healing, begins with radical honesty, with looking at yourself in the mirror, not the mirror on the wall, but the mirror of your own awareness, and saying, hello, I see you, all of you, even the parts that hurt. You don't heal by pretending. You never have. You never will. Pretending is like putting a beautiful bandage over a deep wound and wondering why it won't stop bleeding. The bandage might fool others. It might even fool you for a while. But the wound knows the truth. You heal by facing what hurts, by turning toward the pain instead of away from it, by saying, yes, this is real. Yes, this is mine. Yes, this is part of my story. And this is where courage lives. And still choosing to take one step forward. Not because the pain is gone, not because everything is better, not because you figured it all out or found all the answers, but because forward. Even the tiniest step forward is an act of faith. Faith that tomorrow might be different. Faith that you are worth the effort. Faith that healing is possible, even when it doesn't feel probable. One step, just one. While carrying everything you carry, while feeling everything you feel, while being exactly where you are, you don't heal by pretending. You heal by facing what hurts and still choosing to take one step forward. If no one told you this today, I see you, I believe you, and you're not alone. If this reached something inside you, do one thing for yourself today. Just one. That's how it starts.